Hi, friends. What's the Enrico?
Hi, I'm not sure who I should be speaking with, but I my prescription was supposed to be sent over to a CVS in California, and
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Rachel started a phone call just as I started live streaming. Anyway, I'm streaming. I'm cleaning. I'm dopamine feeling. Why? That's right. I'm on Adderall. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. I just took 3 pills, a lowly 45 milligrams. Federal Reserve's good stuff. We've got 2 specific things on the agenda today that need to be completed. Thing number 1, clean this room. That's right. We're going to clean it top to bottom. We're going to rearrange it. We're going to work it. We're going to rock it. We're going to stick our meow in its meow. Thing number 2. Today, Rachel and I are going to work on a Hawaii video, which is to say, a video made from the photos and little shorts videos that I made while we were in Hawaii. Sensible enough thing to do. Ooh, I'm feeling the rush of Adderall within me right now. Like an avalanche of dopamine hitting my brain. I can feel it empowering me with superpowers as we speak. Yeah. Oof. The scalp is getting a little bit tingly. We're getting the drug sweats, which are always good to get. If you're enjoying the drug sweats, congratulations. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie's tater tots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business, thinking now about what he'll call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald always thought that they'd be chancing up to return to the work after up. He'd get back to it eventually, but his visions piled up and his plans would interrupt all the work that started off so hopefully. And now his mind is back on his business, thinking of changing back this to business. So how all the people will shout his name. And Gerald knows he understands ever more clearly now. He won't provide explanation regarding the why or the how. He'll see you and know you. Much to do, and he had brought time in the underview. Too much to but so where, how, and what? Too much time spent at picking this cue with you. Gerald has an idea for a name-changing business, thinking now about what he'll call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald has a thought.
I'm gonna try and be patient with them.
Are they giving you problems?
Well, they said that they have a skeleton staff right now. They don't have any doctors in. There's no doctors, which was like, what? So there's no doctors, and so she can't actually speak to a doctor to like find out. So she's gonna talk to her manager, and they're gonna like
Figure it out.
yeah. So I'm gonna be patient with them.
Okay. Are you done talking to them right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's fine. Be patient with them. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
No, that's a great strategy because you're giving them rope.
Thanks, babe.
Absolutely desirable strategy. We're going to give them rope. You're being patient with them. When do you need it by?
I probably should have it within like 4 or 5 days. But I could be fine without that. It just needs to be in transaction. Like I have.
Yeah. No, I got you. The thing is, we talked to them quite a long time ago. So the fact they have a skeleton staff now is irrelevant. But that's I think we'll hammer them with as needed. Okay.
Okay.
So good job. Thank you for taking care of that phone call. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I got a little dopamine going in my system. I can feel the drug sweats coming on.
I hope you're documenting it. Oh yeah, I see the drug sweats coming out.
Yeah. Those are the best kind of sweats, of course, or the drug sweats. Can't go wrong with the drug sweats. So this morning we're streaming, we're cleaning, we're dopamine feeling. Now I know that streaming and cleaning and feeling don't really rhyme with each other. So if you want to critique me on that, that's fair. But I tell you who does rhyme with Eric. Rachel Lapalosa. Even when she was a baby. Or I guess this is like toddler age.
Was I 87 too? Yeah.
Toddler, yeah.
And that pictures, my face is like that because my mom was taking too many pictures and I didn't want to take anymore.
You were like, too much, Effie.
Yeah.
You're making me use my tool function too much.
Yeah.
Adorable indeed.
Thank you.
Speaking
of,
here's my other adorable baby picture that I have up here, which is my sweet, sweet Delilah pants when she was a little girl.
Yeah.
With her chubby little cheeks. Look kind of like Rachel,
cute.
really.
Yeah. We have the same kind of cheeks.
Yeah. I talked to her not that long ago. Rachel periodically reminds me to call her, which is nice. Otherwise, I never talk to her. But yeah, Delilah and I are. They're both beta quadra. They both got those beta quadra eyes.
Yeah.
Beta quadra eyes.
Your mom even used to say how we looked similar, me and Delilah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Like, you look so much like.
If you were to stand you two next to each other, nobody would say you guys look similar.
No.
But if you just look at like the eyes and the baby quality, there's a similar beta-ish quality to you guys.
Definitely. I psych myself out. Like I like have thoughts in my head and I can't like suck in. Oh my god, I psych myself out.
Good morning, Bacon.
Good morning.
How are you today?
We should have something to eat.
Yeah, we should have something to eat. Do you want to go put a frozen dinner in the microwave? Or if you're patient, we could wait and we could go get donuts or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be on me.
All right, cool. Well, we just started the stream, so.
I'll be patient. That's fine.
Okay.
I want to help out. Do you want me to start with clothes?
Sure. Or if you put some clothes here need folding, I can fold and you can put away.
Sure.
I can fold while I'm doing this. With peanut butter and jelly. No, we've got a variety of different things. It's easy to find food to eat around here. It's just that Rachel and I are both the same way. We want what we want when we want it, and we don't want something else. Kitty wants in.
That's why I always used to stand in front of like the refrigerator for a good like 10 minutes looking for what I want to eat, but it had to be what I wanted.
Right. Oh, there's a billboard in Los Angeles that says it's a billboard for retirement planning. It says people spend more time standing in front of their open refrigerator than they do planning for their retirement. Which I'm sure is true, but I don't find particularly convincing arguments that we need to plan for our retirement more, therefore,
Yeah.
We had hot dogs and french fries for breakfast. That sounds good.
That is good.
Hot dog.
I've definitely had those mornings where I've woken up and been like, I have to have that salad I had from dinner last night. Like, salad for breakfast? That's disgusting. But
the last couple of days, Rachel and I ate eggs and bacon for lunch. We could do that again today.
Nice. Sure.
If you'd like that.
Yeah, I would. With the coffee. That sounds great. That's great.
The thing about the eggs and bacon breakfast is, or eggs and bacon lunch is, it's easy to cook. It's like better than shit you can microwave, definitely better than that. And it's one pan, the one pan meal. It's like you just put the bacon in. No, I don't bake my bacon. I want it to come out the certain way I like to make it. Cook the bacon in the pan, and then you cook the eggs in the bacon grease. No baked bacon. That's crazy talk, Octavio Silva. I make what are called dirty eggs. So you got to cook them in the bacon grease.
I like that name, dirty eggs.
Mm-hmm.
They look at.
Even if baked bacon is superior, Octavio Silva, it makes the eggs inferior because you don't have dirty eggs then.
Boom. Logic. I just want to say hello to Winston's mom, Octavio Silva, and I found bacon. I did not say hello to her. And it would bother me if I didn't say hello.
My ESTJ father scolds me for not microwaving bacon.
Oh, that is so funny.
Because he insists that it's so much easier to just microwave it. And why would I bother with a pan? Because you have to clean up grease splatters. So every time I cook bacon, I make sure I clean like a fanatic afterwards because I don't want to hear any shit. But we have a grease catcher. We've got good pans too, so it's easy to cook around here. When we made that gravy the other day, one of the reasons why it came out fine and was easy enough to do is my dad's got these super expensive, high quality orange pot that's like a Dutch oven, basically, or whatever you want to call it. But you cannot burn shit in that pot. It is such a good pot. It's unbelievable. And there used to be a smaller one of those. My dad gave it to Kimberly as a gift. Kimberly used to come over here and cook all the time. Yeah, she was quite a cook. And so he gave her a smaller one of this pot that I used for the gravy. And I'd never seen her so happy before. She was like, David, thank you. Oh my God. It's like, I could not get her to even, appreciate the slightest thing that I did, but my dad gave her this pot and she just about wet her pants.
Funny.
Creuset? What's creuset? I don't know that word. I have to Google it.
Oh, that's the kind of pot.
Oh, is that a kind of pot? Creuset. Yeah,
That's
it's exactly
exactly
what
it.
it is. That's exactly what it is. Wow. That's crazy,
That is
Winston's
crazy.
mom. That is
How did
crazy.
you know?
How the fuck did you know that?
Like the exact one.
That's exactly what it is.
You know, that really does make a huge difference.
It's a great pot. Look how expensive those things are. Do you see how expensive those things
No.
are?
How much?
Look at this shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, like the
Wow.
real ones. They're expensive, huh?
Yeah.
You know? It's
That's
like,
it has like everything you want.
yeah.
It does. Cause the stick and the burning when it gets charred at the bottom.
Yeah, it doesn't do that.
That's good. Oh, Dutch oven. You were right.
I think it's a round one. Maybe it's oval. I don't know. It's one of the two.
I think it's the round one too.
Let's see. $360. Jesus Christ. That's expensive.
Yeah.
This is
It's a small one.
that's the small one. That's the one my dad gave to Kimberly. This is the one he kept, which is $400.
Wow. You know, it's worth it though.
It
To some
is.
degree, you know, because like it lasts. I'm sure it lasts forever.
Well, I mean, it's just I didn't know it was so expensive or anything. I just thought, wow, that's a great pot. You know,
Some things quality costs.
I learned they were expensive when my dad gave one to Kimberly, and she told me they were expensive, but I didn't,
Aw.
you know, I didn't know they were like that exactly. You know,
Yeah.
regardless, my dad's got a lot of good cooking shit. It's not just that pot. He's got a lot of good pans and pots and stuff. In fact, I think that white pan that I used for baking yesterday might also be that same.
I was happy with it. Why not stick with them?
Although I actually found that pan not necessarily the best pan for cooking bacon in. That white pan. I think we should try to take that off today.
Okay. Yeah.
You wanna bring her over here? We're gonna try to take off Kitty's bandage day because she's barely favoring the leg anymore. Just a little bit. And I think she's gonna be.
Do you want to go out? Or are you just sitting there?
Well, look, I mean, all these pots and pans and things these got, they were purchased when my mom was not reduced to mush. My mom was an excellent cook and an active cook, an ISFJ who loved cooking and cooked all the time. So that's why we got all the nice cooking stuff. It's not because of my dad.
Oh, she knew the quality of the stuff?
Well, I'm saying the reason we've got good cooking stuff is because my mom was such an active chef, cook type person. I don't doubt that my dad is the one responsible for getting all the stuff.
Yeah.
But the reason we had it was because my mom was such a cook, you know, not because he cooked a lot. Although he did cook occasionally, but he would probably have not gotten all that shit for himself. It was just him cooking, you know?
Yeah, that's why I thought it was your mom's.
But see, my dad is the one who buys things. He's always been the one who buys things. Like, he'll come home from the swap meet and like his happiest moment is, oh, these guys at swap meet didn't know what they had. They got this fancy brand of thing, and I got it for just $20. Do you know how much this costs in the store, Eric?
Yeah.
That's like ESTJ heaven right there.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, these things are normally I save nearly $1,000.
Yeah, no, the ESTJs love that. Oh my gosh. My mom has got like full dresses for like $5.
Well, I didn't mention it, but I got credit from my dad for the recommendation for the grocery outlet where we bought the creamer before.
Yep.
He's like, well, I went to that place today, Eric. We got incredible prices.
Yeah.
I don't know how they stay in business.
Uh-huh.
We got the orchid there for like $7, remember?
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Or $8, $7.99, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's about the cheapest you're ever going to see a blooming orchid anywhere.
And it's still doing well.
Yeah, it's doing fine. It's doing its thing. It's like getting rid of some of the older leaves and bringing some new leaves, and then it'll bloom again. I guess maybe relatively soon. I don't know how often they bloom. I'm not sure.
I don't either.
I might need to give it orchid food too.
Possibly. Gotta go attend to my daily responsibilities. Bye all.
Bye, Octavio Silva. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.
Winston's mom says orchids are so exotic and I have never tried to grow them. My mother has a green thumb and knows nothing about plants. I can't grow anything inside and know all about plants.
Well, we have a greenhouse window by the kitchen sink, it's called. So it's designed to grow indoor plants in. Like it's I don't know. I don't know why it's called a greenhouse window, except
No, because it's like it's like the corner and it's like open, like it's only window.
It gets a lot of light there.
Yeah,
without getting a lot of direct light. It gets a shit ton of indirect light without a lot of direct light. So orchids grow great there.
Yeah.
One sad piece of news I have to share is that the neighbors apparently killed the bees, which is very sad to me. But I mean, I understand it sort of like, okay, enough of this huge swarm of bees in the front of my house.
Yeah.
I get it, but here's the thing: we're still getting good amount of bee traffic around here, and that's because that's obviously not the only hive around here, or they moved maybe. I'm not sure. I kind of want to go, even though I couldn't eat it, I kind of want to go sort of pick around the hive now and
see there's honey.
See there's honey in there. And I'm sure it's poisoned, so I can't eat it. But I'm curious to see, like, I never could get in there before. I'm gonna put. Can you empty out that thing? And I'll put the folded clothes inside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was sad. They killed the bees. As far as we can tell, we're not absolutely sure. But I'm pretty sure.
Probably dead. I mean, they haven't been the same since that one day where they were going nuts.
Right. That was the day they got killed, I guess. And they were trying to find a new place to live, like in our side of our garage, but we wouldn't let them stay there. If they had been someplace like over in the corner, it would have been fine, but not inside the garage.
No.
We should put a box out that's designed to attract a beehive.
That's a good idea. Yeah. And that's actually really a thing people do quite often. It's a great idea.
We should look up on the internet how to make a box that attracts beehives to your house.
Great idea, babe.
Thanks. So I'm folding clothes right now because we did laundry last night. Last night, neither Rachel and I could sleep very well. But, our sleep patterns are very I mean, we're learning how to live like we're learning how to listen to our bodies more. You know?
Yeah, we are.
Like last night, we both went to sleep, tried to go to sleep at around, she went to sleep a little earlier than me. But neither of us, we were both tossy-turnies, We were both Taciturn Tad and the Tossy Turns. I don't know if you're familiar with that band. The band I made up the other night when I couldn't sleep. Anyway, I came out here. I ended up sleeping probably 5-6 hours total, and after a bunch of switching places and yeah. Cool. Yeah, it is nice, easy, and comfortable. I'm getting accustomed to remembering that my dad is just another human being like me, and I'm not skittish around him really as much anymore, which is nice. Because skittish around him, I spend more time with him, talk to him more, make more of a point of being a good son and stuff. It's strange coming back at this age and living with my parents or my dad again. But it's great. I'm confident to say this is the happiest time of my life. It's maybe not the most exciting time of my life at the moment, but it's definitely the happiest. I've never felt so fulfilled and content and satisfied. It's like it's really Jerry Maguire-ish. You complete me stuff,
Yeah.
Even though that's totally gaff.
I knew that was going to be the description.
Yeah, I agree, Winston. He does need me, and I'm recognizing that, or I'm internalizing the truth of that better. Maybe a better way to put it. I'm gonna make an effort to spend more time talking to him. The challenge is always that I guess I forget kind of how little he needs, which is to say, he just needs me to go in and talk with him and listen to him. Yeah, I totally do feel that. Winston's mom. In fact, Rachel and I had a lot of conversations about that at the beginning of the relationship the first time, which was like, it felt like we were back in high school having a high school relationship. And then for a while, it felt like we were in college.
It really did.
Now it feels like an adult relationship.
I agree.
Yeah. We've gone through these phases in the relationship which are equivalent to reliving sections of our life, basically. And I can just feel the transition into a different way of being that's preferable, for sure preferable. I feel the magic of the world all the time now. I see it all around me. It's beautiful. And I'm also not, it's like I feel invulnerable to non-self-inflicted bad magic. As long as I don't make any bad choices, I feel like the evil of others can do me no harm. Which is a pretty important feeling. Okay, I've got one set of laundry folded. We want to talk about where we want to put the laundry. Is it organized okay? Should we? Because I'm thinking about sort of like taking out everything from here and then rebuilding from scratch, kind of. This was supposed to be a hanging area,
right?
Yeah, for hanging stuff. But what that reminded me, I have a closet inside, right? That that is mine. I guess I forgot about it. It's in the office, I think.
Cool.
So I have some hanging stuff in there, and you can hang stuff in there too.
Cool.
You want to toss me those clothes right there?
Yeah.
Sounds like an internal locus of control. Yeah, well, that's an interesting idea in general, this locus of control notion. I think I've always had, to some extent, an internal locus of control, like in the sense that the whole idea of prioritizing accountability is one that says there is an internal locus of control. You are responsible for your actions and what happens. But in this context, my dad can undermine one's sense of predictability sometimes. Like, because it has to do with antipolar, he doesn't really get the way that his words from before persist across time. So when new words come up that are contradictory to them, it's a problem. He only gets it in terms of SE, like if he's committed to do something. So as long as he hasn't committed to do anything, as far as he's concerned, whatever words you said before don't really matter.
Oh, that's interesting. I never really saw that before. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's a thing where he's always prioritizing actuality over meaning, ultimately. So, for example, when Becky sent him all those emails, he did end up talking to his lawyer. It didn't matter what the truth was. The truth is pretty clear. Oh, this looks like it needs to be washed again. What is this? What is that?
I don't know.
Part of the laundry detergent thing?
Oh, maybe.
This needs to be washed again. It's over there. It's like he's very like hit and miss on how much entitlement I should take about things. Like sometimes he's like, help yourself to these drinks or whatever. Then some other time I'll be like I went inside the other day. He was in there and I said, hey, I'm gonna give some of these Cheerios to Pete, the peacock. And he got mad at me for not saying, can I give some of these Cheerios to the peacock? Ownership, son. It's like, okay, Dad. I'm sorry I presumed to give some of your Cheerios to the peacock. On other occasions, he said things like, okay, well, these things here are for the peacock. I'm going to put stuff here for the peacock. And so he has this area where there's stuff for the peacock. But if there's nothing in that area, I don't know, am I not supposed to then, okay, I guess I have to then, it's like there's all these really particular, precise little rules or something. This can go inside. How to put this? Yeah, over there. Can you put that over there? Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look at these. Ooh la la. Panties. These are what are known as panties.
Oh, no.
Ooh la la. These need to be washed again too.
Yeah, they do.
That last load was a little bit big, is why I think it didn't mark that well.
that
I kind of
happens.
stuffed it in a bit. So, all right, Winston's mom. I'm going to actually make you a moderator. Not because I won't expect you to moderate at all, but because you're always putting links and stuff that are usually worth. I mean, you never put in random spam or whatever. So, and I tend to want you to have that power to link. So, I'm going to just make you a moderator. If anybody deserves to be a moderator, Winston's mom does.
Yeah.
Here's my cool autonomy debate shirt. Oh, well, you're probably younger than I am, Bacon. This is the shirt that is for my school, right, that I used to have. Autonomy debate. Pretty cool shirt, huh? Abraham designed this shirt. But
Really?
I said what was on the back. Waitings for subjects. We are the sovereign. We wait for no one. Waitings for subjects. We are the sovereign. We wait for no one. We are the angles. Waitings for subjects.
I like it.
It's one of Corey's songs called Sovereign.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I really would like, you know what? I suddenly had a realization that what I want to do is produce some of Corey's songs.
Ooh.
Get his ass over here, record him,
Yeah, why
make
not?
his songs the way he wants them to be without necessarily me involved at all, except as a producer. That's something I should do.
Who knows, it could end up in a jam sesh too.
I could, but I mean, the thing that is, Corey needs me to manifest a couple of things that he needs to produce that aren't produced properly, you know?
Yeah.
Ooh, la, look at this. It's a titty holder. It's known as a titty holder. It holds titties. I don't know how to fold this.
I knew it was going to be like that.
It doesn't fold very well.
That's fine.
I could be wrong. It's just my song.
Nice way.
It's spooky when someone remembers your art, and lucky. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I feel like I've made some stuff as good as Corey's best stuff at this point. But even so, to be perfectly honest, I still think like that guy he needs to make his music because he's a real like natural genius. My genius, to the extent that I attain it, is brute force. It's not intuitive naturally. He has inspired visions of the sort that I rarely have. And I want to see him, manifest the reality he ought to manifest. He's an INFJ. He's got trouble with SE, and he's also got a situation that's not really conducive to his realizing what's important to him. He's given so much of himself to everybody else.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome, darling. Thank you.
Draw.
He does not have this sort of relationship where both partners are positive and loving. And he never got himself out of it. I would say it's too late now. Probably. But
Is
maybe
it?
not. I mean, he talks about how much he has invested in that relationship,
Mm.
That only gets increasingly true. If that's the logic, then
But like,
I mean, look, I haven't interacted with those people as a couple or whatever for quite a while, so I don't know. They may have changed the way they interact with each other somewhat, but I would say that the wife is BPD. In fact, that's where I learned the term.
Wow.
That's where I learned the term is when Corey sort of diagnosed his wife successfully, correctly, I'd say.
That could be
actually,
very scary.
it's difficult. This one's need to be washed too. That vaginal blood really leaves some hardy stains. My TI in basic training has us as his first female class. What's TI in that context? He turned all shades of embarrassed when he had to teach us to fold our lingerie. You had a... Oh, cool. That's a good suggestion. Winston's mom, she says hydrogen peroxide on the blood stains.
Oh, thank you.
We have hydrogen peroxide. I use it to brush my teeth. I want another box to put these things in. Let me see. I think I'll use this.
Yeah.
Let's see what's in here currently. It feels like it has stuff in here. But I never unpacked. Eric, come on now. You're still packed from Hawaii? You know better than that, Eric.
That's right.
Still packed from
That's
Hawaii.
so funny.
Are these clean or dirty? These are clean.
Yeah.
We did laundry right before we left there.
Yep.
Yeah, those are clean. This is clean. This is clean. Okay, time for a song. It is time for a song. I don't think it's significantly genetic at all, I found bacon. As far as I know, BPD has nothing to do with genetics. It has entirely to do with how much abuse you suffer as a child.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Oh.
You certainly are a precious wonder pants.
They're your wonder pants.
Thanks, darling. Oh, this. A girl named Rachel Apples, she wear tap pants. Oh, tap pants. Sexy flapper girl tapper pants with silk stockings and tiny shoes. Rachel does have tiny feet and hands.
I do.
It's adorable. Hi, JL. Flow like the snow an hour ago. Though everybody said, wait, no, she wouldn't stay. It'd be wrong. She'd already been there too long. Florence forgot the things she said. She preferred the words in her head. There look for the orphan and the float and the kid. But she said she would. Florence for that. The word I don't remember how that part goes. That's the bridge part. I need to relearn how to play that. Just like I need to learn how to play What's the Big Problem? Oh, she's yeah, a lot of things I need to do. Including folding the rest of these clothes. I think I'll play Destruction of the Whole Damn World, which I always play. But the reason I always play these songs is trying to get them all perfect and right. Yeah, this is still that guitar that I bought at that yard sale. I dented it, as you can see. I broke it one time a little bit, but it still plays fine. This little thing here is not a big deal. It's still that guitar. Oh yeah, I'm gonna play Destruction. We need to know. We need to see. We need to ban happenings down by our music judge. A logic to life we could basically unlike, and from which will rarely budge. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss the sign. How do they set their right over these? These foreign backstabbing entities. Into man, I make a misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, misery. We're stuck in such petty mercy. We all partition the rectories and call the destruction of the golden world. We share now our lives. Open Julie will do. Jerry shares no 4 minutes. Just can't share things like they do. And Judy always thought that she should have bought to when she had the chance to buy. She soon forgot about children dogs, although she ought to recall that. People everywhere gather up in these outbreak that now the Mr. Sign are to this and their priorities of these fallen backstabbing entities. Into it, I think misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, causing and misery. We're stuck in such very larceny. We all partition the rectories and call destruction of the whole damn world. Oh, and thereby was the world destroyed. That was a very good take of that song.
Yeah.
I usually play it pretty well, but that one was extra clean, I guess you could say. No, I didn't play that yet. I'll play it now, Jake Hurwitz, for you. No problem. COVID-19, my ass. You call this sick? Where is the death? 0.05% doesn't seem like enough for all of this mess. Don't the people understand that destroying all the world's economy is at least 4 times as bad as a couple 100,000 dead bodies? After all, there are 7 billion people in this crowded world, and we've all got our things to do that we have to. We can't sit around waiting for a kachu. We can't go and end our lives over this. Thank you, Rachel. There you go, Winston's Mom. There's your COVID-19 remix. Come outside, your arms are folded. I'm getting scolded for playing again. I wanna be as much as I can in terms of the man you want me to be. I got to do what I got to do. I'll include you in everything that I can. 'Cause I'm your man, and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. You want my belief, you want my attention. I've got invention going again. I wanna be as much as I can in terms of the man you want me to be. Kimberly, please don't be mad at me. Though I made this song, 'cause I'm your man and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. I'm your man, and you're my girl. I mean my woman in the world. You are the one I will be with till my dying day. Thanks, everybody. I realize that our dominant may not be the most obvious one, since we can overdo our fourth when we are in a grip of something. Well, you gotta remember that your fourth function is something you use in relief. If you're feeling just fine, then you won't be going there and spending much time in that fourth function, because it's kind of like something you try to avoid. Rachel and I are spending a lot more time in our function stacks, where we are spending on 4 streets 8, and that's a lot of stuff. That's great. It's okay, cause we are feeling better now that we take better care of ourselves. FP in the fourth means that relief is external, not internal. G, because your dominant function says where you primarily reside attentionally. So I primarily reside externally and attentionally. That means I don't spend most of my attention inside of my being. G means that I'm going outside and looking, I'm seeing, I'm doing, I'm thinking, I'm talking, I'm live streaming and making a song, and that's the sort of stuff I do wrong. And if you want to see what it's like to be externally motivated, then I am a good example for you to see. What do you think that this is, G? Well, if instead you start the eye, then you are stuck inside of your mind. Spend all your time in there just thinking about whether something's right or here and whether it makes sense or not. Then if you got an any in the second slot, then you think other things that might not be, but what you gonna do is happy. So there, J. Kerwitz, if you are always inside your head, then relief is outside of you, just like relief for me is in two. And I found it you and meow 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 meow. Do you understand what I am saying now? We are defined by our dominant functions and how they place us attentionally in a certain field, either inside or outside of you and me. Once we're there, we are gonna find it's comfortable to be that way most of the time. But the alternative is our fourth function, and it rhymes. Yeah, it rhymes. Yeah, it rhymes. Rhymes. See the T, I don't want it to be included or accepted by the group or something like that. It's true they are motivated highly by their happy in the fourth slot, especially INTP. We got more abs and a physicality than the ISTP, and thus more nuanced G with the meaning of it. And you also thought about your polar function. So Cloud says he doesn't accept my definitions, but he has no alternative definitions that make any better sense, nor any reason to deny the absolute primacy of the ideas that I have said to him. Instead, he simply wants to find his own way, regardless of if it makes any sense anyway. And that's okay for you, Cloud. Do what you want. I don't disapprove at all. Too robotic. My definitions are too robotic. Does that mean they do the robot? People aren't computers, you're right. I don't think my definitions render people into computers. I point out that you analyze a function through one of a set of possible modalities. This isn't about functions themselves, I'm talking about how you analyze functions. how you're analyzing functions, how I'm analyzing functions. It's called meta-analysis. So it's like when I'm analyzing functions, I'm saying, okay, here's the object of analysis, a cognitive function. What does a cognitive function look like in terms of describing it? Well, what's a function? We know what functions are from math. It's like addition, subtraction, multiplication. Of course, my darling. Please take two. They're small. If we are inside a simulation, then what would we be functionally? AI? Well, look, to understand any sort of system, there needs to be a prime directive, which is to say, what's the number one rule? You could easily enough say the number one rule for human beings or any life is don't die, right? That's the number one rule, is don't die. But don't die doesn't provide us sufficient. If in fact that were sort of the prime directive, don't die, then all people's behaviors would be able to be explained in terms of death avoidance behaviors. But that's not the case at all, right? So we need to have some sort of other prime directive that helps us, that everything can be converted into. And if we don't have that, then it's difficult to model any sort of system. And the prime directive is matching the map and the territory. Namely, people like to be able to anticipate, look forward a bit, and say, this is going to extrapolate out like meow, this is going to extrapolate out like meow, be able to predict things and not be surprised. Have aspects of life upon which they can basically assume no change to remain the same. I want to know when I go out and drive to the store that I'm not going to be shot at, for example. If I am shot at by a gun, totally out of the blue, I'm going to thereafter be very skittish about going out of the house. I'm going to have PTSD maybe or something like that, where every time I see meow, I draw association with this surprising event, because what my psyche tells me is your territory, your map was wrong. It didn't account for this substantial thing that you needed to account for, or else you wouldn't have been surprised like this. If your map had been right, you would have been wary here. I've also made that argument. Certainly, like data about speciation and stuff suggests that would be the case. But so the thing is, it's like, let's say somebody cheats on you and you're completely naively assuming everything's great. You have no idea. And you find out all of a sudden, like I did in my first marriage. It's going to impact your ability to trust thereafter, because you realize your map was a complete failure. Your map didn't take into account the dangers of this territory here, and you weren't paying attention to those dangers. You weren't looking out. So yeah, those arguments are fairly common, and I agree with them by and large, that they make a lot of sense. That a simulation, if you're going to have to advocate for some sort of affirmation as to the origins and source of speciation in human beings and life and what its purposes and stuff, that would be the easiest affirmation to make. And so, each of us expects to be able to successfully navigate the fluid and changing reality via a map that's always lagging a little behind, but is also updated periodically, but is not updated real time in the way that real time is, Right. When you find out your understanding of that person is wrong, it calls into question all your memories of that person and your plans for the future. It also calls into question, most of all, and this is the most important part, when something like that happens, it calls into question your own map making judgment stuff. So you're like, I didn't do a good enough job of making this map because I did not anticipate this. Jake Hurwitz, that's not an irrational fear. It's a reasonable fear, even if it's unwarranted. Okay, so what you have is an unwarranted fear of your partner cheating because you just started doing long distance. I think probably both Rachel and I had that unwarranted fear of each other cheating when we first started doing long distance. It doesn't make it irrational. It's plenty rational. There's a reason to think that other parties might not, might be tempted or whatever. But it is probably unwarranted, which is to say, if you have two good people who love each other and are good and understand what's significant, then then you just have to reassure each other. And both of you should say, listen, I'm here to not only not cheat on you, but to reassure you that I'm not, and be open and not hidey about things at all, and be proactive in reminding you that I love you so much that I'd never do that. If both parties do that, then it'll be fine. You won't have any problem.
You're really great at reassuring.
Thanks, darling.
Yeah. It's nice. I appreciate it. A lot of people don't like to do that. They're like, they feel like it's implied or, but I don't think there's anything, like, I have no problem reassuring you. Like, it makes me happy that I can.
I think we both, to a certain extent, feel responsible for each other's feelings. I know I feel responsible for yours. I was concerned that, we have a lot of conversations where I'm concerned, Rachel, that you might be worried that I might be upset about those kind of ridiculous conversations. We don't have real problems, so we worry about maybe the other person's having a problem because I'm not having any problem here.
Yeah, but that's good. That's a check-in.
It is check-in, and it's being careful with each other, making sure that we're still on the same page. It's operating as two very metaphysical types will, because two metaphysical types are going to assume that reality updates periodically. It doesn't fluidly change, because the reality that matters most is that which is non-real time. It's the turn-based, meaning-based realities that matter most to metaphysical types. So they're going to assume that, you expect your partner to operate accordingly and be like, yes, we're both doing periodic updates, reinforcements of the existing narratives. We're both doing narrative work as a team,
Yeah.
The collective unconscious is definitely a metaphor, because just because people come hardwired with certain sort of special instincts, and realities implicit to being a species, doesn't mean we share an unconscious. It just means that the symbols that people use in one culture are likely to resonate with people from another culture, even if they don't have any shared connection besides being human. Just because certain aspects of the human experience are implicit to being human, and regardless of where you are or what your culture is, it doesn't mean there's a collective unconscious. It just means that shit resonates universally because it's resonant of universal aspects of the human experience. We are connected through an invisible force. Well, that invisible force is language and meaning and communication, narratives. How does narrative building play out with more physical types? They pay attention to narrative. See, that's the thing. It's like how Cloud is going to be impacted by my various narratives is unpredictable, but he will be impacted by them somewhat. How you are impacted by my narratives, Jake Hurwitz, is much more predictable. So I'm confident that you're going to, types closer to me are going to benefit more from what I have to say in my wisdom. Do I have some wisdom to share? Yeah. For younger NTPs who are in their 20s or 30s or whatever, or even NFJs potentially, I think what I have to say has a lot of potentially powerful impact on them. I know that as I go through life, things people have said to me before continue to resonate through my life. Significant things, and insignificant things. Like the fact that Dave Porter once, many, many years ago when we were surfing, after I sneezed when we were waiting for a wave in the water on our surfboards, he said, "Big sneezes for little Eric." Mm-hmm. I've been saying that ever since, right? I've been saying that and big yawns for little Eric, and it has been spoken by me so many times it's crazy. It's one sentence somebody said a long time ago. There's another sentence that I heard in high school from a teacher, and she said, "Be careful about the things that you hate in other people, because they're likely to be qualities in yourself that you're not acknowledging." And I thought about it ever since, and I've applied that rule in general. Okay, whenever I hate something about somebody, I look and see, well, okay, how does that link to some aspect of myself? Being a debater and a debate coach has given me a huge advantage over other ENTPs in a lot of ways. Now, INTPs, it's less of a deal because they're not NI ignoring. But debate has trained me to be a lot less NI ignoring. Music has also trained me to be a lot less NI ignoring, or at least capable of using NI as I need to. And TI means the tool function, especially with debate in the mix, means a truly disinterested calculus. Because if you're a debate coach and a debater, you're using a disinterested calculus as to which arguments to run. You're running both sides of the resolution, regardless. You're arguing both sides of it. And so, in that manner, you know that you've got to put aside your own feelings about the matter. It doesn't matter whether I'm in favor of this or opposed to it. Like, for example, the fossil fuel subsidies. I was opposed to the idea of getting rid of all fossil fuel subsidies because they're not actually subsidies. They are quote-unquote post-tax subsidies, which are just tax breaks that are put there by the legislature to encourage certain kinds of behavior. So if an oil company produces oil more cleanly, maybe they get a tax break. And they're saying to get rid of those tax breaks is to get rid of the reward for doing it more cleanly that was intended to happen, and you might end up having the oil producer make it less cleanly, and yada, yada, yada. All these other reasons why I'm opposed to it. Doesn't matter that I'm opposed to it. I still have, as a debate coach, to argue as successfully as I can in favor of it as well. So this creates a very disinterested calculus where you're learning to interpret arguments and statements for degree of defensibility, which is nutshelled as an NI truth. This has given me the ability both to recognize NI more successfully than most ENTPs, and also to be thoroughly disinterested in my self-critique as well as critique of other things. Well, Cloud, I mean, you've already said that, the thing is, you say if you were an ENTP, you were very in touch with TI and SI. And this is what I never see in most ENTPs. But as we've already discussed, Cloud, you don't understand what SI is, and you don't agree with my definition of it, and you don't have a counter definition that's meaningful. So, and you're not willing to parse out, well, how are we talking about it? Are we talking about it as an intentional manner, as an object of analysis within a function model? Are we talking about it as a process analysis? It's like you're unable and unwilling to distinguish between those things. So whatever it is you're saying about it doesn't really, I can't even get any information. Even if you had something you were trying to say there that was purposeful, I couldn't get from you what you mean. You can't explain it to me. You don't understand that I can't explain by what I mean by SI because words are too limiting. Okay, so then you probably shouldn't talk about cognitive functions if you can't use words to express what you mean, right? You should talk about your feelings or some other things that are appropriate for that. Okay, try, Cloud, try. You're determined. Listen, remember, your affirmation here is that, or your negation, I guess you could say, is that I am not an ENTP, because most ENTPs are in the moment. So what do you mean by in the moment? Why am I not in the moment right now? I'm talking to you directly. I'm engaging with you. about what you're saying. So what does it mean to say that I'm not in the moment? How many ENTPs do you know? Can you give me an example of an ENTP who you're referring to that I would know about too? And it doesn't have an element of difficulty to put into words. It has an element of being irreducible in words. So I could give you a lot of reasons why a given piece of media is successful or unsuccessful, but I can't give you a deconstructed whole. In other words, I can't formulaically prove that it is a good piece of media or a bad piece of media. I can't deconstruct that whole because it's synergistic. That is to say, the sum is greater than the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And with truths like that, truths, quote unquote, with media objects, for example. Okay, so can you give me an example of an ENTP that you're comparing me against, Cloud? Can you give me any example of an ENTP that you're comparing against? Okay, but Cloud, again, can you tell me what these other ENTPs that you don't usually see doing these things? What are they talking about? So right now, am I rambling on about my experiences? Conclusions, those are two very different things, right? So experiences and conclusions are very, very different. Am I doing both? Am I rambling about both for hours? Because look, if you actually drew, like for example, I live streamed last night. The last chunk of it was me telling a bedtime story. I was making up a story on the fly. So you're giving examples of what? But you haven't. Oh, Emma Chamberlain. I don't know who Emma Chamberlain is or your brother. I do know Isaiah Rude, and Isaiah Rude, as far as I know, doesn't live stream. So how would you know how he live streams? Or have you watched him live stream? Your brother's probably not an EHP because you aren't very good at typing people. Isaiah Rude. I mean, he makes the sort of, when he told that story about having severe ass pain in high school and refusing to sit down in class, that's the sort of shit I did in high school too. It was hilarious to me. His jokes and my jokes are quite similar. There's a lot of similarity between the two of us. If you watch us type in a typing session together, you'd see a lot of similarities. Now, granted, I'm 7'8", and I don't think he's got an 8 in his tri-type, and so he's a little less fighty than I am. Right. If NI could be deconstructed in such a way, you would have an artist who make 1,000 straight hits, and that just doesn't happen because it can't be deconstructed. It's an element of magic to an NI truth or an NI thing that NI pops. But what I want to know, though, Cloud, forget about the people now for a second. Jack Sparrow is not an ENTP. Jack Sparrow, is he?
No.
I've never seen that movie actually. So
they want it to be.
He's an ENFP or an ESFP, right?
Yeah, they want him. The thing is, I think they wanted the character to be an ENTP, but Johnny Depp doesn't play it well as an ENTP, so it ends up being another kind of character. And he's not.
Rick is an ENTP, but without the TE. It's like he's got extra TE. But Rick from Rick and Morty is an ENTP. And I've been compared to him a million times. Before I ever saw that show, people were telling me, you're Rick, all the time, Cloud. So, come on, give me something to work with here. You're saying that I usually don't see ENTPs that ramble for hours about their experiences and conclusions. So I ramble for hours, perhaps, but I ramble for hours about a lot of different things. I play songs that are brand new, as I was earlier here, that I was making up on the fly. I did that earlier, okay? I also played songs that I've written before, so I memorized. Now, those are SI, right? I'm drawing from my SI. But ENTPs are allowed to have a repertoire of songs they've made, right? And remember some of them. I only remember a tiny fraction of my songs to actually remember them well enough to play. Okay, but Cloud, you're not addressing what I'm talking to you about. Hold on, Cloud. You're not addressing what I'm talking to you about. You want to move on to a different subject. but you already brought up a subject. You need to finish that subject first. Now, you said you usually don't see ENTPs that ramble for hours about their experiences and conclusions, but I ramble for hours about a lot of different things, right? So how do you explain what's happened in this live stream so far? How do you explain what's happened in this live stream? I made up a song about fourth slot functions and what in the moment on the fly. I made a new version of a song called El Nino My Ass turned into a COVID-19 My Ass function song. So, but let's talk. Remember, Cloud, right now we're talking about what's happened in this live stream so far. Because you made the claim earlier that I ramble for hours about my experiences and conclusions. Is that okay? Well, but what have I done so far in this live stream, Cloud? Actually ask yourself that. Be objective, be fair. Try to use TI, okay? What did I actually do in this live stream? Yeah, I wrote the COVID song on the fly. Correct. And I also played a couple songs that I already had memorized. And I mean, see, here's the thing, Cloud. Okay, well, look. We did talk about various topics. So are you telling me ENTPs don't talk about various topics? Cloud, you're crazy if you think you're making any sense. I make up shit all the time. If I weren't an ENTP, do you think you could do this like me? I know you never will, Cloud, and that's because you're not an extroverted intuition dumb. You don't know how to make up words. You don't know how to make up songs. You got to sit and write them down. Thinking hard before you hit the ground. If I lack dominant in E, I guess you could say that maybe I'd be an INTP. Or maybe INFP, I suppose. But any lower down than 1 or 2, those notions are insane. They make no sense, cause who with 4th slot any could ever do things I do? They never should or would. You never met an IS or ISTJ apparently. Because I'm in touch with so much SI. Does that explain why I can trash you while I'm singing on the fly? Not only win the argument, but make it rhyme at the same time. Having sense, just like a classic verse that Shakespeare wrote, that's designed to kick your butt and send you floating off in a boat. And if you think that I'm not forgetful, why can't I play no more than 1% of my songs? Okay, well, I guess I maybe could play 3% of them, but no more than that anymore would surely be so wrong. So wrong. I never check my email, I never do. I only have a couple things to remember, and soon anybody's not on my agenda. The point is, Cloud, nobody without extroverted intuition and dominant or 2 function could or would want to do this kind of thing, like trashing you in song form. It's very satisfying. And I hope now you have see that you are wrong, 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 wrong. Is he capable of that, Cloud? Is he capable of that? Even if he is an ENTP, I'm a very advanced one.
That was great.
Thank you, Darlene. I appreciate it. You're a wonderful, wonderful friend and lover.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Cloud, I'm an advanced ENTP. I'm an old ENTP. I have a lot of memories. I don't want you to not have an opinion about me or have an opinion about me. I'm disputing what you've already said. Okay, fine. You get to change your claims. No problem. That's fine. Good decision. You were wise in the ways of thinking today. You earned 5 thinking points. Time for me to smoke a cigarette. And then I think Rachel and I will probably end this live stream. And what were we going to do after the live stream? Get some food?
Yeah.
I'll make some eggs and bacon.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. Let me smoke this cigarette. Here's the thing, Cloud. To the extent that other ENTPs don't act like me, that's a reason for you to question whether they're ENTPs. I am literally the textbook #1 example of an obvious and indisputable ENTP.
It's facts.
Period.
Nice folding.
Thanks, darling.
Yeah, you got lots done.
Yeah, I went to folding summer camp last year to learn how to fold.
Really? Oh, I thought you were saying in the TwFP summer camp. I'm like, why did you learn that there? Oh, be at summer camp.
You know, we were going to have a sash ceremony at summer camp. We got some sashes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but, you know, drama happened and the sash ceremony was never came into be.
How did you develop that idea for the summer camp?
People had come the year before.
Oh, just people from the Raw room?
Yeah, I don't know, there was a big party. Well, there had been a big party for the engagement when I proposed to Kimberly.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people came. We had a big ass party.
Yeah,
it was great. It was a lot of fun. But then we wanted, I don't know, I just wanted people to come back, I guess.
Cool. That's fun.
And you know, it was a fun thing, but it just, well, I mean, things went a little off the rails, I guess you'd say.
That sounds about right. It's camp.
Right. I guess you could say Becky went off the reservation.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, she did.
But you know, I gotta say that has to be one of the more satisfying victories I can think of, is Becky trying to attack me by emailing my dad and having it blow up in her face completely.
Yeah.
That was very satisfying.
Good.
It goes to show you about spite monkeys, right? They are convinced that the one thing that they need to do to hurt you or anybody else is to reveal secrets. Why? Because they have such tawdry secrets. I don't have a bunch of tawdry secrets, you know?
Yep.
And the fact that that's obvious because I make them public should make it pretty clear that it's not something you're going to be able to use against me. But she tried to find the one person she assumed I was hiding everything from and email him, who might get mad at me, I guess, or something. I don't know. I haven't heard a goddamn thing about any of the things she said in the emails, except for the suing part. It's the only thing I ever heard anything about. Oh, no, I didn't. I also heard about like my dad saying, "You don't have a bunch of videos up with me, do you?" And I'm like, "Well, there's just that one that there's a couple that you know of, like he agreed to be interviewed, and he's like, yeah, those are fine." So, you know, like Becky tried to find this video of my dad, which she found, and she sent to him and said, "And now this video is not bad, but it just proves how Eric doesn't care about anybody's privacy."
What?
Of course, he gave me permission to put that up there, as she did. But that doesn't matter to her, right?
Guess not.
Anyway, now that I'm live streaming over here, it feels like water fully passed under the bridge now. It's like I'm confident that they did what they wanted to do. They succeeded in basically killing that channel by reporting shit. Although they may not have taken any spite monkeys to get me that first warning, which was all it took to kill the channel, basically.
True.
That C.S. Joseph video of mine, I think, earned its warning by virtue of being what it was rather than anything else.
Yeah.
The second one, I think, was somebody chasing down something to hate on. But I'll never know for sure, obviously. Regardless, like right now I got 12 people here in the stream. It's already feeling like this stream is growing on a regular basis, whereas the other stream was just getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was like, I noticed that today was a good day for the number of people in the stream.
Yeah. I also think that, if I got in the habit of telling bedtime stories in live stream form before bed, people seem to enjoy them, which is very gratifying to me.
I like them.
And, they're not particularly genius works of literature or anything, but I enjoy telling. And I just saw a second ago tweezers somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, right on top of the.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have any hairs on top of my head?
I was wondering last night if you did.
Can you look at it?
Yeah.
I'll get you the magnifier. Dave Chappelle's an ENTP. Okay. I've always thought he was an INTP, but he may very well be an ENTP. That's easy mistake to make one way or the other. I don't really feel anything on it.
No.
It's almost disappointing.
No, right?
It's like I'm so accustomed to pulling these hairs out of the top of my nose that when I don't have one now, it's sad.
It is.
Because when I get them, it's so satisfying. I hate having hairs grow on top of my nose. Who has hairs grow up here? Who? Like, what's up with that? Why do I have hair on top of my nose?
It makes you feel better. Like when I was like 13, I had dark hairs on my nose that I used to pluck too. But yours are impressive. They can be deep.
You don't dislike TI. You dislike how I use it in psychology? But I mean, so why would you not want to use TI in psychology but use it in other areas? It doesn't make any sense. Cloud. I overuse it. Well, that's probably true. Everybody overuses their tool function. I don't think the humans behave like logic gates at all. That's a nice thing about TI is it can account for FI and acknowledge its jurisdictional relevance and where it ought to have dominion. And certainly FI is important. But, I was saying to Rachel this morning, the nice thing about our relationship is that FI is a consequence of our behavior rather than a cause of it, it seems like. We love each other because we treat each other so lovingly. And we treat each other so well. and we appreciate each other and stuff. Why do I say that I'm FI polar? Well, because I, by default, never use a interested calculus. It is to say I'm always being objective about the questions. That's true. FI people have you're right now just playing a lot of TI. It's just really bad TI. It's really like unevolved TI. My FI is similarly unevolved. It's not subtle. It's not nuanced at all. I'm more aware of my FI and more valuing of it than most ENTPs are because of my study of cognitive functions. As a meta-analyst, I have the capacity to grow according to meanings. In other words, understanding and meanings help me to grow as a human being. No, Cloud's an ESFP. He doesn't want me to say that, though.
What does he say he is now? Does he say anything?
I don't know. But he's pretty textbook, as far as I'm concerned. Now, look, Cloud, you can disagree with me, and I respect that you have the right to say whatever type you want to say you are. But I have the right as well to have my own opinion about it. And my no, you don't improve it. This is the thing. Listen, I haven't improved my FI. I don't have better FI. Remember, FI is an attentional manner. There are times in my life when my feelings are significant enough that they become pressing upon my being to attend to them. For example, I might ignore my feelings most of the time entirely, or have a hard time telling you what I'm feeling, if anything, at any given moment. But if my cat dies or gets hurt, all of a sudden I have this burst of feelings. I don't know what to do with it. I just know that it's very, very upsetting and disconcerting. I understand what it is intellectually, though, because of my study of cognitive functions. I've metacognated myself into a more evolved form than I otherwise would have been had I not done all of this stuff. Additionally, I'm more authentic and more open and more vulnerable than I've ever been before in my life because of YouTube. Remember, I'm ultimately third slot valuing is my absolute value, which is FE. And I want to be likable. I want to be liked. And I want people to think that I'm not just competent, warm as well. Now, granted, I tend to prioritize competence over warmth, which is why I kind of slap you about the room sometimes, Cloud, because that's FI polar. It's like, I'm not really thinking about your feelings. You're coming in here provocative and antagonistic, in my opinion, and then I'm just checking your ass. But, that's what it means to be FI polar is you don't place a lot of consideration on other people's feelings a lot. And as you get better in life, you are more aware of things. Yes, you can write, and in fact, in some ways, you'll write better than somebody with more NE. You just need some singular ideas, and in fact, you can even source ideas from other people. I mean, I've dealt with multiple ESFPs in the past, and they're all willfully insistent that you can't know me, you don't know me, you can't put into words what my experience is, and the richness and reality of human experience doesn't mean you can be a robot. So it's like all that shit you say is textbook ESFP. I've dealt with multiple ESFPs before. Don't forget, Cloud, I've been doing this now for 6 years, and I've talked to a lot of different people. This is just the latest incarnation group of people. I've gone through countless groups of people of equivalent size of this that you're currently a part of. You're not the first ESFP, and you won't be the last. Claude, I'm telling you that you behave like an ESFP. You said no. What ESFP behaves like this? And I said basically every ESFP behaves like this. So that's not stereotypes. I'm saying ESFPs behave like you. You behave like ESFPs. Is that definitive as far as your type? No. Like I said, I've never typed you, so I'm not definitive. The stubbornness, the insistence that TI doesn't matter, the insistence that words are too limiting, the insistence that I can't ever know you and your full experience and all that kind of stuff. That's textbook ESFP shit. Yeah. That's textbook ESFP because it's ignoring the fact that I'm not trying to limit people. I'm trying to provide us means of understanding people. And those means of understanding are going to be incomplete, obviously, because they use language. That doesn't make them worthless. You say talk is cheap. Um, it's never going to happen independently of structuring it for you to make it happen. It's like we talked about the FE thing. You need to understand that SE is not the way that you extrovert, period. It just isn't. Um, he's going to have to understand that he's expecting you to use his tool function on an extrovert field. In other words, to manifest things as realities rather than just notions, then he's going to be waiting a long time. Look, Claude, the strength of the ESFP is the capacity to believe in the face of endless amounts of contrary evidence. And that's a strength that you can apply, but you're applying it in the wrong place here. It's not a strength for you here because this is the sort of matter that is fundamentally a TI in any realm. Okay, but that's not valuing it. Admiring it is not valuing it. Valuing it is prioritizing it when it conflicts with your other approach. And when it conflicts with your FI, you don't prioritize it, and that's fine. But you're not going to convince me that you do somehow. Sorry. We're just colorful with words. I see. Okay, Cloud, that's very ESFP of you. You value it in logical space. Well, this is a logical space. I'm making logical arguments. That defines the space. Okay, the space, quote unquote, is defined by the kind of arguments made, not by things implicit to the notion. Now, in other words, I can acknowledge there are aspects of human experience that are not parsable in logic and words. And I can reference those aspects, nevertheless, with logic and words as objects lacking definition, for example. So you're not even remotely engaging with me meaningfully right now. You're just mushing shit out pointlessly. And that's fine. That's what you're gonna do. Because you're an ESFP. That's what ESFPs do. Yeah, well, horse mumbler, look, you gotta stop thinking about it as a abstract question and start thinking about it as a practical matter. What is the specific thing he wants you to do? When and how can you get yourself to do that specific thing? You're thinking too big picture, trying to find some sort of holistic conclusion to this that's meaning based. That's the problem. You've got to, and that's what it means to be SE polar. You're always going to be thinking about some sort of meaning based solution. This is not a meaning based solution situation. You need to determine a specific thing that you'd like to have done and figure out a way that you can do that thing. And stop thinking about it in big picture terms and start thinking about it in terms of tasks and shit, Yeah, I don't know why people do this stuff. Bacon. I mean, I get why Cloud's the way he is, but as to why he chooses to spend so much time here, where it probably doesn't feel good exactly, right? It doesn't feel good to be here if you're being negated a lot, I would guess. But of course, he's coming in so provocatively. So, well, like Brittany did, you seem a lot less damaged in some sense than Brittany, but Brittany did exactly this. This is exactly what Brittany did. Courtney did exactly this shit. She was another ESFP. Two other ESFPs that have been around the channel. I can tell you, you're not your first one, Cloud. This isn't groundbreaking time for me. I'm not, oh my God, clouds here, things are so different. You act just like the previous ESFPs did. Chloe. Now, granted, you're smarter than Chloe. You're a lot smarter than Chloe. Chloe was the, I guess you'd say, least developed ESFP of the four that I can think of, including you. Same thing, though. Same basic approach. Well, you guys are going to have to understand that he wants that too, Horse Mumbler, because he's basically an abstract type with TI Dom, you know? So, you guys both need to sit down and go, okay, we need to stop abstracting about this shit. That's rule number one. We're going to sit down and talk about it without abstracting. What concrete thing needs to be accomplished? We're not going to discuss why it can or can't be accomplished, whether it should or shouldn't or whatever. What needs to be accomplished and how can I accomplish it? That's it. You know, if you do that, then you're on the right page. If you're not doing that, then you're on the wrong page. And you can do it because you're a meta-analyst. You can say, listen, here's the reality. What we're both trying to do is I'm trying to be a meta-analyst. You're trying to be, what is that, an analyst? Yeah, you're trying to be an analyst. TI Dom, SE Tool. Right. And that's the conflict here, is the analyst is still trying to get you to abstractly solve the problem, but to have a single holistic thing. You're trying to have a holistic understanding of what's happening here. But because you can do that, Horseman, where you can say, here's what's happening here. You're arguing like this, I'm arguing like this. It's a problem. The only solution is to put aside the abstract aspect entirely and act like executives instead. That is to say, people who figure out the specific thing you're going to deal with first, and then how to figure it out. Okay. And then after that, you have to act like executors, knowing the single specific thing you're going to do and then doing it. I think if you replay that last little 5 minutes or something, Horse Mumbler, for you and your dad, it will probably help, maybe. I don't know. So I'm about ready to go in and cook us some lunch. I'm just going to pull this bong rip and play one more song, and then I'm done. Right. You can't type people based on how they describe themselves. Well, look, I mean, what you need to do as a meta-analyst then is explain to him, here's the wait, let me see what you put there again. Here's the here's the specific thing that we're going to be addressing, which is our barrier here, the barrier to communication. And here's how we're going to act upon that. So now you put it in his frame in a way that he understands it. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't like Hitchens' phrasing at all because it suggests that somehow evidence is important. Substantiation would be a much better word because substantiation doesn't require evidence. Substantiation requires reasoning, or which might include evidence, you know. Let me see if I have this thing here. I think I have the words here somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to try to play this song. I really need to figure out the bridge to it, which I don't know, but I'm going to play the rest of it besides the bridge. in the stream. Flo left for snow an hour ago, though everybody said, wait, no, she couldn't stay. It'd be wrong. She'd already been there too long. Florence could hear the things they said. She just preferred the words in her head. Flo took the wheel, heading due east. In order to feel, she hurtled toward space. Picked up the kid, surveyed her mood, saw doubt on her face, and slowly unglued. Chicago now loomed where Theodore lived. They made town. Flo and the kid drove to a hood where nobody should. Flo did what she said she would. I have to move forward here. Florence was mad and eager to shout. The kid had been bad and had to get out. Reclining the seat, the kid was a liar, pretending to sleep. The kid had conspired. Justice and lace for what the girl did, alone onward east. Flo booted the kid. Persistence feels entrapment. Florence can't stay in one place long. Now she's on her way to Joplin. That place too will end up being wrong. Something like that. Now, let me scoot forward a bit. Where's the rest of it? There we go. Okay. Now Theo received a call from the kid. He's from Chicago, as previously said. Young like a kid, he hopped in the car. Here's what he did. He drove to the bar, outside of which stood the kid and her stuff. And quick as she could, and just fast enough, she got in the car, and they drove away. She'd been saved by Theo that day. Onward alone drove Florence to space, losing her mind while running a race, while keeping the pace. It's a good song that I need to really learn how to play because I need to memorize it and stuff. It would be one that I enjoyed playing a lot, but I need to work on it. So, okay, that's going to bring this live stream to a close. Thank you all for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Horse Mumbler, I hope you listen to what I just said there. Not ideationally dead. He's just NI, not any. Goodbye, and we love you all.